All right, looks like we're getting around the 5-minute mark, man. We're just letting the social media audience build up. We're going to go live with Shop Talk just about 5 minutes from now. I want to welcome everybody from the Chopper Town Network and Cycle Source family coming in tonight, sharing your Sunday evening with us. We got a lot of news to go through here. Some great guests tonight. Killer What's in Your Garage. I'm not even going to waste a surprise if you don't know. If you didn't see the promo, we got a real treat for What's in Your Garage. Stick around. Let's see. Let's pick out a couple people. Richard Gray, what's up, buddy? Jennings Green, Sean Winkler, all in the house. Throw your comments up there, man. Tell us where you're from. 5 minutes, we go live with Shop Talk. Sean Winkler, right on. Hoka Hey. Steve Broyles in the house. Tony and Laura. Lance Bankster. I'm starting off great. Lance Baxter. All right, man. Hey, listen, looks like the clock is winding down. We're going to get this thing started. Pull Shop Talk out of the station for the night. Get ready. We're going live. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys, it's just after 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. Good to have you here with us tonight. I'm Chris Callen, your host this evening, coming to you 50 floors below the street level from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Shop Talk every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And why does this microphone sound funny? Is your microphone sound... I'm joined by my crew. They have funny microphones too.
Hey,
what's
it
up,
sounds
crew?
good in my ears.
Right on.
My microphone.
I think you're just old.
Yeah.
And I wished you'd fix the damn
be.
elevator. I'm tired of walking 50 flights of steps down.
It's the closest to street level they'll let us get. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like that sometimes. So hey, if this is your first time joining in, we want to welcome you to the show. This is a little thing we do every week. A little bit of news, a little bit of entertainment. Whole thing is wrapped up around motorcycles because that's what we do. And lots to talk about. How about this? First, I got to look. Greatest dad ever. See that? I don't know if you other guys were trying for this stuff, but greatest dad ever right here. Right here.
Oh.
Are you done yet?
No.
No, seriously. I have to give you a lot of credit because you stepped into our daughter's life when she was 14.
Oh, I thought Small
She's
gave it to
awesome.
me.
And didn't miss a beat. Like you didn't miss a beat.
Hey, Smalls gave me the same thing he gave me every other day this year, which was a dumb look. You know? And I understand. That means he loves me and we're all good.
Mm-hmm.
So
He left you presents and he even signed a card for you.
Wait, did he leave you presents you had to clean up?
yeah. Yeah. So all right, man. Really, really great stuff coming up tonight. Of course, the Sturgis talk goes on and on. We got some information about events coming up for that. Let's start with Mark. What did you do this week?
Really?
Yeah, man.
I'm just glad it's Sunday.
That
means I go back to work tomorrow. It's easier. It's like life's rough.
Oh,
what
buddy.
did we do all week? I worked on motorcycles and
You did. The shop's been humping, right?
Yeah.
Over Flat Broke, man. You've been killing it.
yeah, I got beat up by a set of brake lines on a Cadillac. That was a lot of fun. So
Tell everybody what you did this weekend.
This weekend I added.
He had a big weekend.
I added to the overall chutzpah of Flat Broke Chops and Rods Grease and Gears Garage by and having poor Mr. Fish. I gotta say that, right? Poor Mr. Fish.
when your name comes up on his phone, he has to get sick to his
Dude,
stomach.
that's what I told him. I said, I can't believe you answer my calls anymore. But a long time ago, years now, we bought a mill off of Mr. Fish, an Enco mill, and I was super proud to get that. Well, a lathe and a bandsaw came available, both by Enco, and I conned Mr. Fish to come and help me get it, and it's in the shop now waiting to be wired and set up, so I'm pissing myself to get there. So, pretty big. We're going to be making stuff this winter, me and you, buddy. Turn your hat backwards and let's go, Philo.
I got a date. I'm busy. I'm busy that day.
All right, man. Listen, so like I said before, all of this is, a little bit of entertainment. We bring on a guest or two. The whole program starts off with a thing we like to call the news. And first up in the news this evening, this coming in from the Rapid City Journal, what we know so far about the 80th Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. If you've been watching this thing unfold, it's been crazy. We did a special show about it. Everybody, like, nonstop, we've been getting calls in the office. What's going on? Is the rally canceled? Is there going to be anything out there? Are there going to be any people? So from the Rapid City Journal, just this evening, we bring you this news. Sturgis 80th Annual Motorcycle Rally is on, and planning has resumed, but it isn't expected to look like it did for the 75th. Sturgis City Council voted to have a modified rally August 7th through the 16th within the city limits, canceling the traditional opening ceremony, B1 flyover, photo towers, and other events that typically attract a large crowd. Sturgis Mayor Mark Karsten used Facebook Tuesday to address the decision. It's a fluid situation. We don't have all the answers this morning, but we do know there will be CDC guidelines for all the vendors, he said in the video. He also said there will be additional sanitizing on Main Street and multiple hand sanitizing stations throughout the city. Now, before I go on and on about this, the first thing that we want to say here at Shop Talk is, yes, we are going to be at the rally.
Yes.
No, we do not expect anyone who doesn't feel safe to go, and we're not encouraging anyone to be reckless or endanger anyone else or, loved ones at home or whatever.
I like you used personal responsibility.
This is a big thing. This is a big topic.
You're supposed to leave at home when you go to Sturgis. Your personal responsibility.
But this year we're asking everybody to incorporate a little bit of personal responsibility in their Sturgis rally.
And everybody's going to have the cleanest hands in the world, by the way.
The deal is, the funny thing about this is, like, everyone's so worried about this being the big anniversary year. It's Sturgis, man. Yeah. It's Sturgis. Like, this is for the American motorcycle culture and community. Like, this is the return to Mecca, and people are going to go. You know what I mean? Like, the riding, everything that is South Dakota, like, it's what we do,
I'm kind of hoping it does take a step back a little bit. Maybe bring it back to its roots a little bit more. Highlight some of those grassroots things that made us all love motorcycles to begin with.
So I'm going to do this for
Just
you because 53 rally venues right now just shot you in the face. It sounded like this.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
No, I'm just saying.
No, that's not true, because in speaking with some of them, they are actually hoping for the same thing, that the people that go there get the experience that they truly want, rather than...
And I think
that's what I was trying to say.
And that's what we're all saying, man. Is like Sturgis is about that once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, don't think it's going to be hard to stop that. I mean, that's sort of what I get. I mean, I agree. I think everybody's going to go there. Everybody's going to throw down like they normally have. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe in the back of their mind they're going to use a little bit more common sense and a little more safety. But on the other hand, it's going to be Sturgis. We were going no matter what. So
right, and I think that's how a lot of people felt. Yeah. They were going to go. Whether, regardless of whether the city canceled it or not, they were going, and they were going to enjoy Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. There was going to be a rally no matter what. So
what we're saying is, on the Cycle Source website, we'll see you there. We have a full list of events coming up, which I can tell you a little bit. We're going to go over these again at the end of the show. But for now, on our website, you can find all of our events, the stuff that's happening out of the Iron Horse. And addition to that, we've actually signed on to help out Steve Broyles, who's hosting the Full Throttle Saloon Old School Chopper Show,
which was killer last year
on Monday. Yep,
it wrecked it,
and it's great. I mean, this is the 14th annual. You guys know how long this show's been going on there, and Steve is keeping it alive. So we go out there every year and support it anyway. And all we agreed to do was just throw some promotion behind it and, make sure that we're going to bring you guys some live footage. So look for us out there. Look for information on more of our Sturgis events, because we're going to be running around doing a bunch of stuff with the Black Smoke Centers, and it's going to be a really good rally. So other than that, be responsible, make your own decisions, don't believe the hype.
Wear rubber.
Next up in the news, this in from Fox News. Motorcycles rarely make the big networks unless it's a black eye, so we thank them for encouraging reporting. Confederate Motorcycles changing name and going electric. Boutique motorcycle outfit Confederate Motorcycles is changing its name and making the switch from building bikes powered by big V-twin engines to ones with electric motors, according to a report in the Los Angeles Times. The Alabama-based company was founded in 1991, is known for high-end, handcrafted motorcycles with a signature naked industrial style that cost upwards of $155,000 and have been owned by celebrities like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Confederate President Matt Chambers told the newspaper that he thinks the company has started to lose business because of the name. Okay, next up in the news, Ultimate Motorcycling. You know, seriously, like, this is how, I don't know how other newscasters on proper broadcast channels, I'm just not going to address stupid shit
not worth
anymore. You know what I mean?
And if we are, it's going to be the wrong way, and then it'll be not good.
So next up in the news, 34th Bike Fest on for September. Italian Bike Week returns.
That sounds like fun.
So this just so happens to fall on my birthday weekend.
Oh boy.
And it's on the northeastern of Italy's Adriatic Sea coast. So I'm just saying. It's a tax write-off if we go.
Right.
It's a business expense.
Yeah. Good luck with that, Blondie. Good luck.
Hey.
This was supposed to be my 50 and 50.
Oh,
right?
That's going to happen.
Back to the news. So the 34th edition of Biker Fest is on for September 17th through the 20th, 2020, in say it.
Legnano,
Sabadoro, a peninsula of the northeastern. Hey, you shut up over there. At Italy's Adriatic Sea coast, also known as Italian Bike Week. The event is a wide-ranging affair that appeals to virtually all motorcycle riders. The bulk of this, though, is good to see. Like, Italy was hit so hard in all of this stuff, man. It's so great to see that they're coming back, and you know their events are starting to come back around, and we're super excited for them.
I want to go.
Me too.
It's my birthday.
Next up in the news,
just saying.
This from News Center, NBC. Women's Freedom Ride comes.
When you say that.
How's that?
Yeah,
Women's Free. Boston in the house. What's up? The whole show's going to hell, folks. Women's Freedom Ride comes to the Black Hills, Rapid City, South Dakota. Through sunshine, rain, winds, heat, even tropical storms, a group of women have ridden their motorcycle through it all for a worthy cause. The Women's Freedom Ride was started in 2013 to promote fellowship and support for all women bikers. They aim to bring awareness about their impact on the motorcycle community, all while donating proceeds from their events to veteran groups. The Women's Freedom Ride is comprised of many events, and starting Thursday, June 6th in South Carolina, more than 40 bikers are beginning a 6-day ride. Look, I'm proofreading.
I was going to say, you
NBC,
totally proofread,
right?
Yeah.
A 16-day ride through 20 states. They arrived at Black Hills Harley-Davidson on Tuesday, June 16th, and were led by local chapter of Harley Owners Group on a ride through the Black Hills. CEO of the Women's Freedom Ride, Karen Collins, is proud of the work the group does for veterans and to be part of the ever-growing group of motorcycling women, she said.
So it was pretty neat. Like, throughout the thing, there were a total of 762 riders that came together for this, and the proceeds did go to Infinite Warrior and 22 Kill. So for that, good for them.
Absolutely. Ripping through the news tonight. This one is going to be hard for some people to hear, man.
Really? You think?
I was just...
Are their heads that far lost?
It hit me hard. Like, this came across our desk today, and this comes in from Car and Bike. Harley-Davidson removed from S&P 500 index. Harley-Davidson will be removed from the benchmark U.S. index effective June 22nd, 2020. Iconic American motorcycle brand Harley-Davidson has been removed from the Dow Jones S&P 500 list, a key benchmark for U.S. stocks. The S&P 500 U.S. considered a measure of how the American economy is doing and includes 500 large companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and JP Morgan Chase, which are all listed on U.S. stock exchanges. These companies are worth billions of dollars and are considered to be representative of the U.S. economy. And now Harley-Davidson will no longer be part of the S&P 500 index. Instead, will be listed in the S&P Mid-Cap 400, a listing of smaller companies.
So second is first, last place. Is that what you're saying?
It's just sad because, I mean, not just for Harley-Davidson, but for motorcycling as a whole, this marks a place where through Harley-Davidson's heyday and like the whole, biker build-off and the chopper heyday, we had just made it to the level where we were kind of recognized as an industry. You know what I mean? And what this kind of means is, like, even one of the biggest companies of us has slipped outside of what the regular doing business as in the United States considers part of that top industry, right?
Yeah, and it seems like, obviously, after watching their moves for the past, however long here, and it was almost inevitable. It sort of felt like it was falling apart at the seams from the top down, because the people who supported it and their largest demographic has been pushing it and hasn't slowed down or stopped.
No,
it's hard to it's hard to see it.
There's a lot of talk now too with the new CEO, and a lot of the stuff that they're doing within the company now really points toward bolstering the core, and so we wish them luck with that. I guess it's about time that we get to our first guest of the night, but first I'm going to come over to you, Blondie. You're going to tell us about some of the social media people tonight.
Oh, let's see. Mr. Rob Nussbaum from beautiful downtown Boonton, New Jersey is in the house. Chris Summer Simmons says Happy Father's Day from Maui.
Right on.
Let's see. Tony Tello, just back from Weir's Beach in Laconia. No rain, lots of bikes. Because this actually should have been the closing weekend of Laconia Bike Week.
Right. How weird to say that.
I know. I don't like it. Walt Lumpkin is in the house. Paul Lauer Hello from Gettysburg, PA. Abby Smith, good luck with going to Italy. Yeah, I know. You can't blame a girl for trying, though. Poppy has his 3-piece suit ready for Sturgis. Let's see. Sup, Grandpa? He is a grandpa.
I know, right? That's still hard for me to admit.
Big D from Marengo, Illinois is in the house. Now, Gene earlier was asking about what the best oil to cool his 2014 FLSTC Heritage Softail is. My 1948 Indian Chief 80 ran really cool. This 2014 is at 225 above the all-time. I realize that with the catalytic converter, it makes it lean, but helps. Something has to be better than HD Sin 3, 32050, or Lucas or Amsoil. I told him that Spectro is always our go-to.
Yeah. And I would definitely reach out to Eric from Spectro. If you hit him up on their social media, I'm sure he'll get it. Or if you send us a message of how to get a hold of you, we'll get him back to you. So listen, man, the first guest that we have coming up tonight's been a long time supporter of the magazine, of me personally. Did mountains and mountains of work to keep me out on the road when I had nothing to get there but a motorcycle, and is doing some really, really interesting stuff. Kind of like so many of us, remodeling and reworking his business model, coming up with new ways to do business in the new world today in the motorcycle industry. And help me welcome to the show, Mr. Paul Wideman, Bare Knuckle Performance. How you doing, Paul?
What's up, guys?
What's happening, Paul?
How about this? Technology, boom, like that, you're there.
I know, it's crazy. I'm actually figuring it out. That's even crazier. Well,
that's kind of where our conversation begins tonight, because, man, what you've done through technology. I can remember us back in the early days of the horse smoke out, and little tents of us all over the place, little chopper guys, and like what you've done with Bare Knuckle Performance since the days of showing up there in a van. Like, wow, dude. Yeah.
It's been a long road. I don't know. Kind of out of necessity, evolution, I guess, just of, what I'm into, I've probably said this on here before. I've been really lucky over all these years that people are, I basically do and build what I'm into, what I like. And I'm just lucky that a lot of other people, like the kind of stuff that we do. So, as my business model kind of progressed and evolved, so did our product line, so did our techniques and our processes. I apologize. I've got a bulldog and a pit bull fighting on the floor right here next to me, so it's kind of distracting.
He has a bulldog?
I do. Bonnie, come here.
Well,
Bonnie, come say hi.
Put the
Sorry,
camera
we
on
have
them.
to see.
Yes,
I know.
it's Father's Day. We got to see them babies.
This is Bonnie. Come here, baby. She's an American, though.
Oh, so she's not a... Oh, look at her.
Say hi.
Hi, baby.
And then here's the rescue pit bull I'm taking care of too.
Oh yeah.
That's a handful.
So, this is it's a small wonder anything gets done around here.
We have two English.
What were we talking about?
So
handful.
like we were saying that the fact that you've built what you built all the time, and that's been your thing, but you're one of the small handfuls of guys from that whole that whole crew that really moved on with technology. And I mean, you were steeped in machinist and fabrication skills to begin with, but you've really taken that up a notch with where your company is today.
Yeah, so it was kind of, it's hard to say because I'm still such a chopper guy. You know, and the coolest choppers are just covered in hand-built, you know, one-off pieces. Sometimes manual machines, sometimes CNC machines, but a lot of, you know, cut, weld, grind, torch, bend, all that kind of stuff. I'm still really into that. It's just really hard to make that kind of part available to anybody and everybody that has a stock or close to stock bike. Because let's face it, you know, it's really easy for somebody to go out and buy a Sportster, buy a Dyna, buy a Softail, buy, you know, whatever bagger. It's difficult for everybody to have a custom built chopper, a custom built, you know, custom bike. And then so that same platform, all those Sportsters, all those Dynas and everything, it's like all these parts fit the same. Whereas, you know, the side of the business I used to be in, people calling, they're like, I got this transmission, this motor, this frame, this, that. I need you to make me a set of pipes and a set of controls. And it's like, yeah, it's just so labor intensive.
Right. And
really
I've been at your shop like through those.
That?
I've been at your shop through those times, man. Like it really was.
Yeah.
It's borrowing a bike and setting up, you know, to do one off work like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's intense. And it's just, you know, you guys have evolved. Hell, man, when I was with you guys still, like when the digital stuff was coming about, you know, it blew my mind watching you, you know, put the magazine on a reader where you just flip through it on your phone. And it's tough because you do get some of the purists that, you know, everybody's got an opinion. But just like you, man, I'm still grassroots.
Oh, hell yeah. And
I still, you know, we still get down, you know, we still get in and put in the hours and all that stuff. But we also, you know, you got to find a way to keep the doors open, keep the work flowing. And, you know, honestly, man, the big thing that like just selling these performance parts now, I love it. I mean, my favorite thing to do is sit down and come up with something new, a new part. And then I can hand it off to one of my guys and have them go make it, pass it off to one of our vendors like Big Will at Faith Forgotten, who's been doing an absolute incredible job doing a lot of parts for us. Pass it off to those guys, and then I can go back to doing what I like doing, and that's creating the next big thing for us, the next cool part that we're going to put out. I get bored as hell sitting in front of a machine all day. You know, so I'm very fortunate that people are buying a lot of parts from us, and that allows me to go back into my work area in front of the bike, in front of the computer, and draw up the next thing. You know, we still have our full machine shop and everything, so I still go back there and I make the first run of everything. Aside from the line of axles that we do, Will has done every one of those. I've never done a single one. Every other part that we make, though, I've done the first run of everything, and even production runs on most of it. Yeah, it's just been an evolution, and it's kind of been out of necessity, but it's also been, you know, I'm really in a good groove right now. I think the whole shop is. We're expanding again. We kind of retracted a few years ago. And this year I've hired quite a few people, even through all this crazy stuff that's going on all spring. But, you know, it's been a good year, and things are carrying forward, and it's looking like it's going to be an even better year than we expected before this whole whatever the hell's going on in the world.
Well, you know, a lot of that innovation that comes about, you know, that really is the roots of what chopper culture is. You know what I mean? Because it started
Right.
with guys that were taking regular bikes and find different, you know, ways to adapt different parts from different motorcycles, or coming up with their own thing. And I mean, really what you're talking about today is, you know, as kind of your generation's guys came through this and the welding got better, and you know, you guys were learning the machine and everything else, you were taking it to that next place, but it's all still in line with that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all still, it's all hot rod stuff to me. I mean, I said that when we were on with Michael Lichter about his show in Sturgis. You know, it's all hot rods to me, man. It's like power to weight ratio, go fast, get chicks. You know,
I've heard that before.
The nice part about this is that, you know, something about you in general and a few of these shops is your parts are quality. There's, I think, what keeps bringing people back. If you take the time to perfect them before you offer them out to somebody, and if that's anything that, if nobody knows bare knuckle or nobody knows you personally,
to break them.
Yeah, that's it too. I mean, your product is tested. You put out such a nice product, and you come up with such great ideas that it's worth making that phone call and taking that time. So,
I appreciate that. So, I mean, you remember how? I mean, I used to have that article at the magazine called "Buy American or Die."
Right.
I mean, man,
dude,
we
I've
go
been
to
thinking so much about that lately.
Get the most high quality. I might have to shut these dogs down. I'm so sorry. These idiots.
We have two. It's okay.
Give me 1 second.
Good.
Rosie, where?
So for you guys that haven't been reading Cycle Source for forever and a day, Paul used to do a column every 30 days. It was Buy America
And just
or Die.
like that, it's quiet.
And like
right.
it was amazing how long ago Buy America or Die was, right? For how that played out in this last 4 years.
And not to get spun off on that tangent, but it's pretty crazy how through all this stuff with, you know, the virus and all that stuff and things getting shut down, it seems like it may have a good chance of coming back around, and I hope for that.
Yeah.
Because the more we do here, the more jobs we have, the more people spend on parts for their bikes and magazines and all that kind of stuff. So it's all great. Yeah. But to say, you know, to speak a little bit to what Mark was talking about, it, you know, like, I don't say it out loud too often, but a big part of why we switched to more, you know, the machined parts, the like, everything we used to do was basically fabricated. We built frames. We had 4 frame jigs. I mean, there was a year there where we built a couple hundred frames. I mean, you know, 06, 07, man, we were jamming. Springers, fenders, you know, you name it, exhaust pipes. We were making a lot of just one-off handmade stuff. Well, that tends to get, that's very labor intensive, and it's not great for lead times. There's no other way to say it. It's tough. Mm-hmm. So I had to switch gears. And so what I did, I put a lot of work into inventory, a lot of money in inventory. And I've done a 180, I believe, with our customer service and our shipping and our lead time reputation. I mean, legitimately 98% of our parts are in stock and shipped same day now, which keeps everybody happy. And, you know, we've got really good tech service. I mean, I could almost spend 6 hours a day just responding to questions on Instagram and email and everything about how do I install this? You know, if I've got this, what do I do? Blah, blah, blah. But I think that's, you know, I think that's the era we live in right now where, you know, we're in the Amazon age where, you know, customer service is key. I think that, you know, getting parts out to people immediately is key, and just offering something that's, you know, higher quality than what maybe everybody else is used to, and maybe they've come to expect. You know, I dare people to break our shit, because you're not going to break it. Like, our stuff it flat out doesn't break. Like that new axle system that we came up with, we're using a material that's stronger, or it's comparable to chromoly. I mean, its numbers are right there, a little bit better on chromoly in some aspects, and just, you know, trailing a hair behind on chromoly. But then it's, you know, he's got this great way that he surface hardens it all now. They look great. Hardware is superior.
You know, and that's what I was saying too. Like, to do the research. If you're looking for a quality part, to do the research, you'll find out that, you know, people like you, people like Will, you look so deep into it. It's not a product. You're not trying to throw something out there just to get, you know, somebody a product in their hand. You're throwing something out there to give them a product that they can run with and know they're not going to have an issue. And that's what it all comes down to. These guys want to get on their bikes and ride. They don't want to get on their bikes and break down and fix it.
Most of the time, I think that comes from the fact that, like, all of us were out there. So
we've got an axle adjuster kit that we make now for Dyna's FXRs and Sportsters. And, I mean, we seriously cured like 3 or 4 different problems that are inherent to the OEM product. And there's other axle adjusters out there from other companies, and they're quality pieces. But, I mean, there's even little things on there that we improved on, like – everybody else uses a bolt instead of a stud. Well, there's no way to lock a bolt in. If you've got an adjuster, you know, you can't lock it in. Lock washer doesn't work in that situation. Loctite would work, but at the same time, you still got to be able to adjust your chain or your belt back and forth. So, you know, that's why we use a stud and Nylox. You know, and then everything's, you know, corrosion resistant. we're just trying to do, we don't come up with a part just to look better than somebody else, or, to just say that we have it. We're trying to solve a problem or multiple problems every time we put out a new product. So that makes it a lot easier for us, because when people are like, hey, could you make one of these? I'm like, there's already like 6 people making them, or one guy making them. If one person's making it, there's no room for improvement. We're not going to step on that guy's toes.
Right on.
It just doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint. And it's not right from, a personal standpoint.
Right on. Well, I'm sorry for ambushing you a little bit here early in the show, man. I originally asked you to come on to do some new product stuff, so let's switch gears. I'm gonna roll the new product thing, and we're gonna hop into what's coming out new from Bare Knuckle. So I'm going to ask you to lead through this stuff. I got some pictures that you sent in, and as you're talking, I'll try to get as fast as I can to get those images up on the screen.
Yeah.
So what do you want to start out with?
So let's start out with the axle line, because I already kind of hit on that a little bit. So we do a lot of work with some shops out west, like FXR Division and Ramjet. And I called those guys one day, and I said, man, is anybody making any kind of an improved upon FXR or Dyna axle? And they both were like, no, but if you make them, we will sell them. So then I started looking at, different ideas. And so if you pause on that one for a second, you'll see that the head on that axle is not a hex head. So a big problem I always found, because I always, if I'm out on a long trip or whatever, I want to have a very basic set of tools that will address any kind of major problem, or even a minor problem, not a major problem, but anything, like if I got to adjust my chain back, or if I have to get a tire changed, I want to be able to do it with very simple tools. So if you look at the head on the axle, actually, it's just got a hole through it. So instead of having a hex and having to carry a huge wrench, or having to carry a crescent wrench, you can just stick the shaft of a screwdriver through there, or a drift. Even a big Allen key you can put through there. And then on the other end, you just have to, in the case of these 1-inch axles, you do have to carry a large wrench. But in the case of our other ones, you just need a 9/16 12 point. So you're reducing the size of your toolkit. So that was one big thing. And then, it's all stainless steel. It's 630 series stainless steel. So it's very corrosion resistant. It polishes beautiful. You'll notice that we have oversized washers right there.
Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry.
Give you a little bit better, a larger bearing surface against your swing arm. And then we use a rotating ring instead of a cotter pin, just for a cleaner look. And then also 630 can be surface hardened. So he's developed his own way, not his own way, but it's pretty new to the motorcycle world. He burnishes the surface, which actually work hardens it. So, Chris, how many times have you gone to drive an axle through a set of bearings in a wheel, and you get just one little spot that drags all the way across your axle, and you got that little burr all the way through it. It's like, especially on the old bikes, man, it was like every single axle had that deep ditch all the way through it. So you won't do that to these, because they're surface hardened. It's not going to happen. So, we cured 3 or 4 different problems with those axles. And we've got them for quite a few models now. Probably the next one will be the new Softails. And some of the touring bikes throughout the last 20 years, which we do have some for touring bikes already, but the touring bikes actually present a problem from a manufacturing standpoint, as far as the axle adjuster on those, but we think we have it figured out. We're going to get them done here pretty quick. So we're really proud of that line. It's been a great seller. It's, you're not going to break it. You can put as much horsepower to that thing as you want. It's not going to bend. As long as you got your drivetrain set up right, you're not going to bend that axle.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. I don't want to bring this up like a shameless plug for the magazine in the middle of this, but this is a tech article in the magazine this month.
Yep. And I think actually Will and I are going to get together and do a tech video for you guys next time I'll visit him. We're going to go through the whole thing and do video for it. Talk about how the idea came about, because he does something kind of similar on his axles as far as there's a hole in it. I've never even seen his axle. So he just said, well, he gave me this kind of idea, and I'm like, so then I just got to thinking about how I would do it, just trying to eliminate those extra tools. And
and that was just to tell you guys, because I am a little longer in the tooth than you and Will, but that's a very old bike, dirt bike, British bike, that hole in the end of the axle trick, and just for what you're saying too, it's because you
I mean,
had
it's
to
just
keep
same
less.
as the narrow glides always were.
Yep.
You know, there's quite a few. We just kind of sexied it up a little bit, I guess.
It's bitching. It's bitching that again. You know, you're coming back and making form and function work together. It's bitching.
Yep. Yeah. So that was a fun project. Will's awesome to work with. He's probably one of the absolute most intelligent people I've ever met.
Oh dear God, you said that publicly.
Yeah. Until you lock the doors on the shop at about midnight and you go to the strip club. And then still intelligent. I mean, he still knows his way around.
Yeah. Right on. So where are we heading next?
So the next thing, I sent you our new rotors. So we're really proud of these new rotors. They're very simple. You know, we were doing floating rotors, and we will probably do another run of those again because they're pretty popular. But, you know, I've got a couple of guys that work with me, and it's like you get so caught up in like sport bike stuff, and you know, let's take it to the absolute umpteenth level. And then we're like, you know what, man, we're chopper guys. These are still Harleys. Let's dumb it down. Let's take the whole floating thing out of it, and let's just make a good looking, sexy rotor. And that's what we came up with. We call that our Antihero Rotor. It's a 6-spoke design across the 5 lugs, which, you know, seems like a funky idea because, you know, it would make more sense to be 5 against 5, but we do it 6 against 5 just because it matches our wheels and some of our other products like our sprockets. We're really happy with how they turned out, and apparently people are digging them because we've been going through them pretty quick.
Yeah, that's no easy proposition either, right? I mean, putting out a brake rotor is not just like, you know, send this out and have a design cut.
What's tough is finding people to help with some of that work because you actually, you know, those have to be ground flat, and it's really hard to find a Blanchard grinder and somebody that can operate it. So guess what we're moving in next week.
And that's how it goes right there.
Yeah, we're moving in I got a hold of a Blanchard grinder, so we'll be doing our own blanks, and you know, it'll all be done by us. So yeah, those are really cool. We've got those for 11.5 front and rear, and then 11.8 and 13-inch fronts.
Right on. Yeah, very clean. Very clean.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun to kind of dumb things down sometimes, and you know, you get so caught up in trying to be so intricate and crazy, and then when you dumb it down, you're like, well, damn, you really can't get any more organic and pure than that.
Yeah. All right, where are we going now?
I guess the last one, I think I only sent you 3 for this week, but the third one will be our new, and I'm super proud of this. I think the first time I was on Shop Talk, which was sometime last year, I mentioned this one, and you were stoked about it.
Yeah.
It's a 49 millimeter narrow glide kit. So, you know, the 49 millimeter mid glide came out in 2006, and it's a really good suspension. Tube thickness is larger. Obviously, tube diameter is larger. So that opens you up to a couple of things. Number one, obviously, it's more rigid just because there's more material there. Number 2, the fact that there is more room inside of the tubes. The aftermarket really went after it, and there's a lot more room for drop-in cartridges, just there's a whole lot of performance upgrades you can do to these front ends. But the problem is, if you want to put it on an older bike and use your old wheels and all that kind of stuff, I've seen it done, and it's basically everybody was shimming their, they'd space the brake rotor out real far.
Yeah.
So that looks like hell, and again, going back to what I said right off the bat, I'm a chopper guy, so skinnier is better, right? So that picture shows you, in my hands right there is a stock narrow glide, a 39 millimeter, and then next to it is a 49 millimeter narrow glide. And you can just see how much beefier and just tough it looks. You know, and Chris, you've mentioned to me in the past, you know, like when I got started, everything was beefy and strong.
Yeah,
and all that
buddy.
kind of stuff.
So
we're getting back to our roots.
So what I always loved about your stuff. It was big guys building bikes to beat the hell out of.
Yep. You know, yeah, you can jump the curb, you can jump a ditch, you know, you can literally just beat the shit out of them. And that's what this is made for. So with this kit, you can use your 99 and earlier wheel, or you can use your 2000 to 2005 wheel.
I got to say, the picture that we have up there, you're scaring me a little bit. So just to let you know.
You're a little intense in that shot.
Just to let you know, I don't know if you're going to hand me that front end or beat me with it. I haven't quite figured it out yet. But either way, it's going to make it through. I can tell you that.
So many options. So many things. That was just, I'm not huge on getting my picture taken, so I was being kind of silly. But, so that front end, you bolt it on. It also, there's other things that it fixes too. The stock narrow glide, the offset between the stem and the tubes is a little bit greater than it is on the mid glide, so that affects your trail adversely. So we brought it back. If you notice, just looking at that picture right there, the tubes are a little bit closer back to the stem. And also just check out how sexy that stem and that nut. That's a nut we came up with. We were using what's supposed to be the premier, fastener in the world. Like, the nuts I was buying from those guys are $30 a piece, and they failed because it was far inferior material. So that's actually the bad one right there. I shouldn't have sent you that picture because our new nut is a lot better.
Right on.
So that material's made, it's also stainless steel, but it's a lower grade, which is actually about the same as a grade 5 bolt, like the kind of junk you get from a hardware store. So now, like when we were looking at the axles a minute ago, we designed our own nut, and that's made out of 630. And it's just a way better material for fasteners because it can actually withstand the torque, and it won't gall up. The other ones were galling up. So anyhow, with this front end, we fixed the offset, and that FXR is a little over 100. Around 105, 110. They get a really bad death wobble. Dynas do it as well, and that's because of the trail problem. So this fixed that. And then we also incorporated a GPR mount for a steering stabilizer. We incorporated, you can use your stock eyebrow mount, the eyebrow headlight mount like FXRs and Dynas have, Sportsers. Or you can use a bottom mount headlight. And then also we've got mounts on there for various, aftermarket fairings and Harley fairings. It's a complete kit. It even has wheel spacers. We've got fender brackets for them. I mean, it's like, what was cool was when I finally started shipping these, because we released them, and then within probably 2 days, I had blown through my second run. I did an initial run of a handful, and then I did a second one, and we were already through that. And then I had to start on a third run. And by the time I shipped these, I mean, it was literally within a day or two, people had them mounted. Yeah. Which for a full blown shop is not a big deal to mount a front end, and to swap something over. But, for Joe Average at home in his garage to have that done in a day or two, I was like, hell yeah, man, that means it's that easy. And that's what we're going for. I want you guys to be able to put these things together and be super happy with everything in a matter of hours. I don't want you to have to, to be on the phone with me a whole bunch, because then you're getting frustrated. Things are getting delayed. You want to get the package on Friday night and be riding it Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and what you were just saying there, man, about how many things you thought about for the different application of a part. That brings us to this wasn't one of your on the list of new products, but it's one that many people feel have you in contention for best product of the year, like throughout the industry. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about your new risers.
So the risers, I'm super proud of that. It's funny because the riser product, the riser project, and that front end project are probably the two products in the last at least 5 years that I'm proudest of, and for completely different reasons. The front end thing, I was so proud of it because it's so complete. Like I spent a lot of time putting a lot of thought, a lot of measurements, a lot of plastic models, printed off on the printer. Spent a lot of time on that, and it came out, and like, no matter how many times you measure, when it actually bolts up and there's nothing wrong, you're like, holy shit, it actually worked. You know what I mean? And that was huge with that. So, but then with the riser thing, I was super proud of it because it's a unique thing that maybe should have been thought about earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have been the first, and maybe I'm not the first guy to think about it, but somebody else just didn't act on it. But I'm just really proud of the fact, and there's already some people trying to knock them off, but it's a very poor design, and you have to actually buy extra pieces to make them modular. With mine, you buy one set of risers, you actually get two, because you can have them straight up and down, or you can remove your top clamp and your handlebar. You move one bolt from each riser and you flip them around, and then you go from, either straight to pullback. Yeah. So it's really cool. A lot of guys have messaged me and said, man, I love it, because around town, when I'm bar hopping, when I'm hitting the canyons, I can have them straight up and down for a more aggressive style than when I go, when I'm going to ride to Sturgis, or I'm going to ride to, wherever. I can flip them around and they kick them back a little bit closer to me. And it's nowhere near such a difference that you actually have to change cables or anything like that. It's just, it just pushes the bars back a couple inches closer to you for a more convenient, more comfortable riding style.
Excuse me for not knowing this previous to this show, but is this something you also offer in different heights? Because I see at the bottom it says 8 to 9 inch rise.
So we have them in 6 to 7. So when it says 8 to 9, that's based off the base. So the bottom part, we have those in 4, 6, 8, and an unreleased 10. We have 10s made, we just haven't released them yet. And then the tops we have in 2 to 3 inch. So you can go, the 4-inch base allows you a 6 to 7 inch rise, and then the bigger one is 8 to 9, and then the other ones are 9 to 10, or 10 to 11. So you can, you can. And the other cool thing is if you buy like the 6 to 7 inch kit, and then you change your bars, you put them on a different bike, your arms grow longer or whatever, you get a different seat. You can call me up and you can buy just 2 pieces to make them taller, shorter, more pullback, whatever. You don't have to buy the whole kit over again. It's modular. You can, it's like Legos or something. You can build on it.
Well, listen, man, here is the, let me shoot that up here again. The website is bareknuckleperformance.com. You can get all his information there, because this cat already had a ridiculous library of parts to begin with. I mean, has been making parts pretty much almost as long as I've been making the magazine, right? You've been piling up the parts. Yeah. Yep. So go check him out today. Killer parts, whether chopper, FXR, whatever you're doing, man. He's got some great stuff lined up for you. And Paul, we're going to have you back on real soon to see what you're doing awesome. Next.
We've got some really cool stuff coming up. We got new stuff coming out again this week. So
right on.
Keep an eye on Instagram. It's Bare Knuckle Paul, and we'll have more stuff, man. It seems like every week we got something new, and looking forward to seeing you guys in Sturgis.
Yes, sir. All right, man. We'll see you in South Dakota. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, buddy.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Awesome. It's so good to see that, guys that we grew up with and in this thing, and see them just kicking ass and taking it to the next place. Like the stuff that him and Will are doing is just off the hook.
Yeah, they. It's nice the original group that we ran around with forever ago to see all of them almost flourishing. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
And it's sort of odd, you think you have a group like that from years back, and a lot of people fade away, but it's amazing how, their eye is what the consumer wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be a part of that.
How's social media looking out there, Blondie?
Man, it's looking great. So I have to admit, I forgot to shut Shop Talk off to Cannonball tonight. Oh. So we've got a lot of Cannonballers watching, but they're commenting on how good Paul's parts look. So if the old bike guys are saying it looks good, then it's good. Sorry, Jason. Let's see.
It gets crazy at 0 hour, right?
Yeah. So let's see. Karen Moore just joined us. Welcome, Karen. Thank you. Rich Petoniak is in the house tonight. Mike Podger from PEI is here. Mr. Will Ramsey is here.
Holy crap.
I know.
How about it?
That's so exciting.
I wonder if he's all right.
Dusty Pine, James Champion.
He had to come on to see if Paul was going to talk any shit on him.
He came on after, I think, so he missed it.
Well, now that he's on, let's talk some shit.
Right. Gus is in the house. Gus. Walter Curo is here. So we've got a good group.
Right on. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys being here. If it's your first time, this is something we do every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, through the courtesy of the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studios. We ship today. That's their motto. If you're last minute Larry like me, they can get you your chopper parts out in a hurry, or that tire for this weekend's ride. Look them up online, Dennis Kirk. I want to, real quick, just again, thank Choppertown for helping us carry this program out, Cycle Source Magazine. And without delay, we're going to hurry up and go to our next guest because so many of you guys have already commented that you're waiting to see this.
Oh, yeah. This is a great guy.
Officially called the Real Picker. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. David Wasserman. What's up, Mr. Wasserman? You there? What's up, buddy?
Hi there. How y'all doing?
We're good, man.
What's up, Dave? How are you, my man? Haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, fine, man. Feeling good.
Good.
Glad to be doing this with you all tonight. My wife, Kim, is here with me tonight, and she's going to be running the camera and showing you all around.
Thank you, Kim.
And,
you're welcome.
So, hey, you want to come in and see what this place looks like?
Yes. Let's go in. Let's go deep.
Okay.
America's going to get a treat tonight.
Okay, wait a second. Let me flip this around.
All right. So Dave is another longtime friend of the magazine and supporter of us. But, man, like,
doing it.
We had him on not long ago.
Let me figure out how to flip this around.
Had him on not long ago on Cyber Swap Meet.
I know.
And man, like we just got a hint of the stuff there and had to bring him on for this. There he is.
All right, there we go.
There.
Almost.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, cool. Hey, so here we are in this is what I call the ready room.
The ready room.
It's like I ride. This is my rider right here. And I ride this one too sometimes, but I don't feel like kicking. But 4765.
I've seen you out on that.
Yeah, you've seen me on this one a lot.
Yep.
This is my baby here.
Yeah, buddy.
Got some cool stuff on it. I just fixed this light on here today. Got that on there, dude.
Now, how long you been doing the motorcycle thing, man?
How long?
Close to 40 years.
Wow.
I bought my first Harley in I bought my first Harley 30 years ago. And you'll see it. I'll show it to you in a bit. But yeah, I've been riding dirt bikes, living up the holler before that.
Now, are these all bikes you ride, or some of these you just play with in the store?
I ride the Panhead here, the 65 Panhead, and the 47 Knucklehead. These other ones are just kind of new ones that I got stashed in here, this room.
That
and this is
shovel
one
is
here.
for sale.
This shovelhead right here is one that I got for sale. 70-degree shovelhead.
We had that on Cyber Swap for sale. That's a
so
sweet
beautiful.
motorcycle. What were you asking for that bike?
9,500.
That thing is clean as Skeeter's.
Yeah, it's like a beautiful, perfect, really great bike. But it's just too modern for me. I don't know how to ride that stuff. The forward pegs, I mean, I need the tank shift and different. All right. So, hey, we got past my old girlfriend here, and I got a few more bikes in here.
So, girlfriend.
Nice you keep her hanging around, you know.
Be nicer if he fed her once in a while.
Look at that room.
Yeah, this is the pile.
Oh.
Now, is this your private collection, Dave, or is this all stuff that you're
Housing.
yeah?
Hey, this is my life. This is my life.
Right on.
I've been a picker all my life, and this is what I've found. And narrowed it down to this stuff. Like I bought and sold a lot of motorcycles and pieces and parts and advertising, and this is what I've kept. But I'm not really a collector. I'm a gatherer and a picker. Like I believe that fun is in the search.
Absolutely.
And I like finding this stuff.
So
Real stuff. Everything here is real. No repros. fake crap.
And that's like the coolest thing about you. Like everything that you have is like, dude, it's the real deal. Like you're not playing any games. It's awesome to look at it all.
Yeah, that's what I like. I mean, there's too much fake stuff out there, and I like real things. So hey, the only bike in this room that I know I want to sell is this one right here, the 1941 FL Knucklehead, first year for a 74-inch Knucklehead, and it's a great bike. And the only reason I want to sell it is because I happen to have a better one right next to it, 41, an original pink, and so yeah, don't need to.
So
wow,
that first one that you have for sale, I know I probably don't. I can't come out of pocket for the whole amount right away.
Or a quarter of it.
Well, wait a minute, but I'm willing to do wet work.
We can't hear you guys too well.
I said that first bike, I can't come up with all the money right away, but I'm willing to trade some wet work. I'll hide some bodies.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Hey, let me turn this here.
Damn, dude.
Just look at it all. It's like
Oh, listen. In pre-show, he said he was going to try to line everything up and outdo Leno.
Yeah, right.
And I was like,
no, and knock them over.
Yeah, right.
And outdo
Oh
Leno.
yeah,
Dominoes them. Yeah.
domino effect. That was a surprise seeing that bike fall over on him.
Oh, my
you're not
goodness.
kidding.
what a great human being. I mean, he like
Wow, that was
he
real.
just sprung
That was
back
real.
and like was like, okay, let's do the show. You know,
Dude, everything about him too, like he's so down to earth, it's crazy. You know, for having the popularity and everything he does have, he's like just talking to you, Dave. Like you're always one of the easiest people. When we see you in an event, like, dude, it's so
It's like
comfortable
coming
to
home,
sit
yeah.
with you. Yeah, it's so comfortable to sit with you and do what we normally do when we run into each other. But you're just such an amazing person. The stories and
Thank you.
always a good guy to spend time with.
It's all her fault, It's all because of her that I say that way.
Somebody
Hey,
has
wait,
to
this is my-
narrow you down.
Hey, this here is my first Harley-Davidson right here, 1933 GLD.
wow.
That was the first
Yeah.
Harley Davidson you ever bought.
That's about the way I would look when I bought it. Kind of, I just keep it oiled up. And I had some stuff. I added a Speedo and saddlebags, and I had that in Daytona in about 1990 or 91 maybe. First year I had it.
No, Dave, what is it about the vintage stuff, the antique motorcycles that you're so passionate about?
Hey, I've always I've been an antique picker all my life. I like old stuff, and it's just more interesting. And and I found my first motorcycle. I found this motorcycle. I was looking for junk, and found this with another bike, and like, wow, just the people I've met through the antique motorcycle world are like the finest. Terry Summers works on all these motorcycles. He's a great mechanic and great friend.
buddy.
And, he's done a lot for the motorcycle world. And it's just, you guys know these people too, like they're just great people doing this stuff.
Yep.
And,
What's that right there?
Yeah, what's right in front of you?
Is that like a
right
speedway
here?
bike?
Yeah.
Hey, this is like about a 25 Indian Scout with a 15 Pope overhead valve, alcohol burning.
No kidding.
top end.
Wow.
Dude,
And
that's
it's a
way cool.
speedway bike. Like they race this around a baseball on a baseball diamond. Like your right foot. Come around this side, please. Like your right foot's on the peg and you're braced underneath this steel padded strap.
Oh,
Your
yeah,
left foot's
yeah.
out and your right wheel's turned like this, and you're just flying, making a hard left.
No, I know those races. The Jawas were the
That
king
poster.
shit, right?
Motorcycle race poster up there. That's the pose this bike does. See that up there? That motorcycle race poster. That's what that does.
Yeah, there you go.
That's that bike in motion.
Yeah, that thing's super cool. Did you find it like that, or did you put it together?
So, hey, here's hey, this is the oldest bike I got. Wait a minute, that's working up here. Hey, this is the oldest bike I got right here. It's a 1900 De Dion Bouton board track racer.
Wow.
Yeah, long story with that. I bought that from Orange County Chopper.
No
Really?
kidding.
10 years ago or something. Here's a cool Indian 1908 single cylinder Indian.
We might be
original paint.
Away from your
All
signal
original.
too much. We lost your video.
And, there's a box that goes on a motorcycle truck like this in this picture right there. You know, it goes out in front of a three-wheeler. And here we got a 1914 twin-cylinder Harley-Davidson original bike that I bought from a 80-something-year-old guy in Wisconsin. Him and his father had always had it.
Dave, I think
You guys hear me all right?
we can hear you, but your video is frozen. I don't know if you have great service in your shop.
Something's happened.
Try to walk
I
out.
don't know what it is.
Try to walk back towards the front a little bit. Oh, there you go.
No, go to Zoom.
We can still hear you. Just bear with us, folks. This picture, when I was going through Dave's photos of him as the monkey and the
Yeah.
sidecar, how cool is
Are we
that?
back with you?
We still don't have the video yet.
We have your audio.
So those pictures, Heather, that was from a time, and Mark, you'll remember this, when Mountain Fest used to actually, on Sundays, everybody got up and went to the middle of town, in the middle of the city, and they marked off like 4 blocks and actually did a race right through the city.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Look at this picture right here. Let me go
such a great
to
photo.
that. I'll have to
it
wait
was-
till it comes back
It
around
was
again.
awesome to watch them race
Oh,
those
dude.
things.
Hello.
And that was where I really I really got the flavor
Sure.
for this cat,
Sorry.
because he was nuts on that. He was nuts in them races.
Yeah, he rides them. That's for sure. He doesn't play
Oh,
any
he
games.
does.
You want to be on Zoom?
So
On Zoom.
So we'll wait till this picture comes back around. Yeah, but they did sidecar racing,
Look
and
at him.
it was all different kinds of bikes, you know.
I wish we could have seen that. It's a shame that they don't do that anymore. I chose this picture because it's just so great. Like, he travels all over picking parts, and he crams them and stuffs
Oh,
them
yeah.
in his little car and his minivan as much as he possibly can. Like,
Yep.
the first time I saw him roll up with the minivan and he rolled like 2 motorcycles out of it, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
One of my favorite.
There. Wait, look at this race. So there's Terry Summers and some of the other guys from down there all getting ready to race that street race on those old bikes, and it was supposed to be like they said how it was going to be a vintage race.
It would be fun.
Or
It would be
an
fun.
exhibition. Yeah,
It was a
just-
race?
yeah, it was full on race.
Yeah,
It
one
was
of my
full-on race.
favorite lines from Dave was what Daytona last year. I have 3 knuckleheads, one to sell, one to ride, and one to drive. It was like one of my favorite lines from him.
He's so great. I just like, he's one of those people that you just truly enjoy being around.
Oh yeah, when you run into him, you know it's going to be good conversation, and like Chris said, it's like going home. It's like seeing somebody you really enjoy being around.
Yep.
And yet he's like a wealth of knowledge in all this stuff, and everything he has is so cool. It's like you want to go see everything he has all the time.
Yep.
And he's everywhere. Like, you'll turn around and you're
Yeah.
like, hey,
Poof.
hey, Dave.
Yep, yep. Well, I like running into him because
I
you know our conversations are always great. We always seem to split off from the crowd for some
Yep.
reason. I don't understand why.
Yeah,
Really,
I know.
Mark?
I know exactly why.
Come on now.
I know exactly why.
I'm trying to be politically correct right now.
Come on now.
So
They have a shared interest.
So
Yes, we do.
So dig this, man.
Yeah, old dude. That's what he says all the time. Hey.
So the very first time that Amelia ever met Dave was at Buck's Indian at BMR. And he's like, hey. And this Amelia was like 15. He's like, hey, I'm David. And she's like, okay.
You know, I forget sometimes, like, when we first started bringing her around, man, this shit was heavy for her.
Yeah,
right. She was. Yeah.
Yeah.
She got thrown in. She got thrown in quick.
Yep.
She did very well, by the way. Yeah.
She did all right. But I'll never forget it because she looked at me like with this terror in her eyes, like, "Mom, help!" And then she's like, "Oh, where's David?
He's awesome.
Where's Mr. Wasserman?
Yeah.
He's so cool."
Well, I think one thing she learned over the years, if they're around us, they're
all right.
There's a reason why.
If they get that close,
Yep.
you can trust them. So
Yeah.
we've definitely over the years have grouped ourselves with a great group of people.
So
I can hear David's fire detector that he needs, smoke detector that he needs to change the battery in.
I think it might be we have a hell of a storm system coming through.
Did it hit West Virginia maybe?
Yeah, they said it was south. So.
Aw.
So.
Well, that's a shame.
I know. We'll have to get him back on.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take 2 minutes and do some business for the show. We're going to see if we can get his picture fixed back up and bring him back onto you. So, like I said earlier, this is Chris. I'm your host for the evening. This is Shop Talk every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, coming to you 50 floors beneath the street level from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. And we're going to do some real quick business. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We got more Shop Talk coming up. Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I want to thank you for watching the flagship show of the Source Media Group, Shop Talk. We go live with Shop Talk every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's only one of the many programs we offer from Source Media. In addition to that, Wednesday nights we have a show, Cannibal Chronicles, that looks into the life and times of cannibal racers as they prepare for this year's Motorcycle Cannibal. Thursday night, we have Bike Night Live that goes into the bike night culture, the food, the fun, the hanging out with people, and we even have some live entertainment. Sunday morning, Cyber Swap Meets kick off, where we have a sort of home shopping network approach to motorcycle swap meets, and we bring guys on that have live parts to sell right there. All of this in addition to our staples, which are Grease and Gears TV, live on the street from the events and rallies, Grease and Gears Garage, Grease and Gears Garage Roadshow. We look forward to bringing more of this type of entertainment to you from the home of Two Wheel Entertainment, the Source Media Group.
Me and Dave have been talking about riding through Texas for years.
Is he okay? You're heading back to the bike now?
Dallas and Houston both are flooded out. It was crazy.
I lived with my sister for a while. She moved back to Texas, and just with my busy schedule, we haven't been able to see each other.
That's right, come on.
It's going a whole lot better for me than it is for everybody
other guys?
else. Yeah.
Denny is traveling probably about 70 miles behind us.
So we pulled into Houston. We have some time to kill because we're waiting for Denver here to show up. What's he doing?
Don't talk, he's got a straight razor on your face.
When I first met Jared, seemed like a really cool dude.
His style is old school traditional Americana.
Houston has a very big soft spot for realism. We try to be a little different and offer traditional.
Are you crying?
No, I won't cry until everybody ain't looking.
All right, man. Boy, like I said, the whole show's going to hell tonight.
Cheers.
We're still trying to get David's image back on. If we can't manage to, we're going to bring him back on next week's show because he still had a mile of stuff to go through. Hey, I want to remind you guys, if you are coming out to Sturgis, there's some good stuff going on for us at the Iron Horse. We got, everything from our custom bike show on Sunday. The Vintage Motorcycle Day is on Tuesday. Our run through Vaynocker Canyons on Wednesday. And finally, we started this tradition last year. Motorcycle
Biker
Olympics happening on Friday, and it's everything from
so much fun.
Mini bike races to who knows what else,
and
man. We even came up with some new games.
Wasn't it one of your friends that you hadn't seen in forever?
Gary Thomas,
right?
old GT 2.5
That's
and
right.
old lead sled brother.
Killed it.
Yes, he did.
Killing it.
And it took me the whole race to figure out who he was. That was the worst part about it. Like at the end, I'm like, sons of bitches, that's Gary Thomas.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, like it was great to see him, and it's nice. We've stayed in contact ever since. So, yeah, great guy, and like he came out with a cool bike. Like his bike was a ultra classic that he had dropped down to like a style of an FXR.
Hey, and wait a minute, I think we have David back.
Oh boy,
are we? Wait, are we back? Yep, the
I
smoke
hear the
alarm's
smoke
back.
alarm.
There we
There's
go.
David.
Right on. We got you, buddy.
Can you hear us now?
David.
He looks great.
He looks good. Nice shop.
He must be having a hell of a storm down there. Hello. Hey, check 1 2. Check 1 2.
What are you smiling? Are you seeing something?
Hello.
What are you smiling for?
Oh, it's the.
I want that one, and I want that one, and I want that one, and I want that one.
The beauty of live TV, huh? Are you guys there? Are you hearing us? Okay. I think we're going to have to
pull this one.
Yeah.
Pull this one up.
All right. I apologize. We're going to have to get back with them another time and get them back on, man, because, like I said, you can see that room full of great stuff.
And we haven't even gotten to, like, the really, I mean, the full bikes are one thing there, but, man, he has some collectible stuff that is off the chart. Stuff that, like, we've been in this a long time, and he was pulling stuff out on the Cyber Swap that I had never seen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
That tip can, wasn't he the one with the tip can?
Yes, dude.
And that thing was effing badass. Like, what an original piece.
Yeah, buddy. All right, well, listen, you know, I don't know if it's the weather that's going on or what's happening right now, but we're going to get back to that. In the meantime, like I was saying, lots of stuff going on. If you go to cyclesource.com, you can check that out. Additionally, we've signed on to help Mr. Steve Burrows, Poppy as we call him affectionately here. We've signed on to help him promote the Full Throttle Saloon Old School Chopper Show, 14th annual, Monday, August 10th, and just a great time. It's killer. Be there. You know, this is one of Mark's favorite events. We usually have to clear his schedule for the day so he can be there all day.
Dude, there was so many people there last year. I can't think. Me and Jeff Cochran rode up there together last year, if I'm not mistaken, and man, it was fantastic. Like, you pulling the enthusiasm and the aura's awesome. So yeah, well worth. If you're anywhere in the area, make sure you put that on your schedule. He puts on an amazing show
and tons of stuff. I mean, Heather, we just went to press with what is our pre-Sturgis issue. It's going to be on newsstands in July.
I'm really excited about this issue. It's pre-Sturgis. We actually, for this issue, we added 16 pages and 2 features. So we actually have 7 features this month. And so 7 features, a whole section about Sturgis. We have a section about, you know, the rules, like how high your bars can be and mirrors and lights and all of that stuff. It also tells you what the fines are if you break those rules. And it also is a quick rundown of just some of the events. We did try to focus more on the motorcycle related events. We didn't get into too much of the bands or anything like that, but that's all in there. I'm really pleased with the issue that we came up with. I'm really surprised at the issue that we came up with.
Well, and there's, you know, I mean, there's a lot of businesses out there that are dependent on you guys coming. So
absolutely,
whoever is coming there, you know, we're going to try to give you as much information up to the minute before we leave for the event.
You know, speaking of fines and Sturgis and things you can and can't do, this week you had asked earlier what I'd done. I actually went, you know, and I know that you had said you were disappointed. I went to a little memorial we had set up for Albert Moore this week that was pretty awesome. You'd said fines, and all the years I've been to Sturgis, Albert, who is supported Chris, probably one of the first?
He was the first. He was the first advertiser. When we came around, we were still bouncing at the strip club and you know, working a little aftermarket part shop. And we came around and said, hey, we got this idea for a magazine. Albert said, all right, come on over here.
Yeah.
And this was Albert's Chrome, like a lot of you guys, because he chromed stuff for people all over the world, man. But Albert came in, he said, here you go. Here's 3 months worth of an advertising. Good luck.
Right.
And I mean, like, you know, for a couple punk kids with a half-assed computer.
And then on top of that fact, he was always there. I mean, anytime you had a problem, Albert was, you know, him and Tracy were so kind, and they'd always sit down. It was super comfortable, but his shop was like a staple. And, you know, he had passed away a couple years back, and I drive by it on the way back and forth to my human job. And, like, every time I go by, I remember. But it was so awesome to actually go down there, and I walk back behind the shop, and, you could still hear that laugh and all that.
Oh
but,
my God!
It's a red had come up with this, and there wasn't a lot of people, a few people, but everybody that was there felt like they were going home for a minute. It was pretty awesome. So.
Well, and I feel horrible that I wasn't there.
Yeah, well, you were getting ready to do bike night, so it was a little hard to do a show in. Don't worry, me and Ed Fish had you covered. Me, Ed Fish, and Dana covered the show, so we were good. So.
Right on, man. So yeah, listen, we're gonna get our shit back together with David and get him back on another time. But for the meantime, I want to tell you guys, please go check him out at therealpicker.com. You won't believe some of the stuff that this cat has come across in his lifetime, some of the stuff that he has. Like Mark said, when we had him on Cyber Swap Meet a few weeks ago, he had an oil tip can.
Oh, dude, I wanted it so bad.
It was one of the coolest pieces of motorcycle memorabilia I've ever seen.
And I knew nothing about it. Like, I've never even heard of a tip can like that until he showed how it worked. I was like, wow, that's cool as hell.
So Mike Podger from PEI is hoping that they open the borders back up so he can come to Sturgis and join in the fun. And I just want to remind people, it's weird. Like, people, if you see us out, please come say hello. Like, because through the magazine, like, I know your names because I process all the subscriptions and we talk on the phone. But I know Chris and I would love to meet you. I know Mark loves to meet you.
Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit, but after a second, like, I get comfortable with it. So I'm not used to it. But yeah, it's so cool. Texas. So many people are coming up in Texas talking about Shop Talk in the magazine. Like, yeah, it's really nice to see the people actually coming in. I'm like sort of glad you brought that up because now people are going to come up and talk to me. I'm going to be
well, you know what the greatest thing about that is we get most of the time we get the same standard thing. They think he was taller, I was skinnier, and then they wonder why the hell she's hanging out with either one of us.
How'd you get those chicks?
Yeah, right.
That's it. It's the show. So you see me with Dana and him with Heather, and they're like, oh, now we know.
So, but anyway, please come say hello. We do hope that if you're comfortable, that you do come to Sturgis. We're going to be there. I know a whole bunch of other cool people that are going to be there. Oh, wait a minute. That implies that we're cool. I know a whole bunch of cool people that are going to be there. So come hang out with us.
Rob Nussbaum just said those Cherokee chapter guys are awesome. That's our home club right there, buddy.
Right.
I know. It's awesome. And Rob did mention he wants to hear more about the Source Media Group. Again, that's a little bit of...
it's funny. And... you guys that have been following us for a long time, forever ago. I mean, we were always broke as a joke and doing everything we could to keep all this shit together.
Hasn't changed.
But we always adapted to the newest technology because it was the only advantage we had that we could just plug all this stuff in.
Because Chris is crazy. That's why. We don't. He does. We follow.
Right.
So let's get that straight right up front. Blame him, not us.
Forever ago, when I think just after MySpace, which is really going to date me.
Wow.
We started getting heavy with YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and and we decided that what would be really cool is to take a lot of the shit that we run into in the magazine and put it on YouTube and get these cool ass videos out. And we started a thing called Rally TV. And from Rally TV, man,
Dude, I remember sitting in my garage at my house having this conversation about Rally TV.
It was nuts. Yeah. And when I go back and look at it today, it still may have been some of the best shit that we ever did. Oh, yeah.
Because, dude, it was so remember
raw.
On the street?
Oh, when Darren was drunk that night doing doing that piece on that guy's bike.
Hell yeah. Jeremy Johnson. Remember, some of Jeremy's were so funny.
What do you say?
You doing fake photo shoots?
Oh, yeah, right. Never taking the lens off cameras. Dude, it was so much fun.
We are going to try and bring some of that back this year in Sturgis. The fun, we're not going to be the fun, crazy ones. We're going to be filming and sharing the fun, crazy ones.
Yeah. The live on the street, I don't know what it was, ended up late night.
Oh, my God.
In a couple places and giving people microphones, just letting them go ask questions was so awesome.
Yeah, Rob Bidos did it one time.
Oh, yeah,
up and down Main Street.
Main Street.
Bobby Seeger did it.
Yeah.
It was a trip.
Oh, dude, I remember that. That was fantastic, too.
So fast forward all this time later, we're putting all this, with COVID, we're on lockdown, and we started putting all this stuff together, right? And we kind of got away from calling it Cycle Source Magazine Presents all these things, and we just call it the Source Media Group. Well, the other day, we actually put it all together in that little commercial bit that I just played, and when we played it to preview it before the show, we all sat there oh my God, that was that was so heavy. That actually looks like something, you know. And like for us, man,
what went through my head is I need a vacation, and I don't even do any of this crap. They do it.
But what's great is like that's how fantastic this community is. You know, that we could do so many different things, and there's very little overlap as far as burnout goes. You know what I mean? Like there's bike night and there's swap meet and there's, you know, the news and stuff here, and you know, it just.
I can tell you if the cameras were on.
Then with Cannibal Chronicles, like it's new great part of this after new great part of this.
I can tell you if cameras are on after like a certain time, you'll see burnout.
Oh yeah.
So like,
well, not burnouts. I mean burnout.
Burnout.
Like,
burnout.
Yeah.
So anyway, I appreciate every single person because seriously, the magazine started in the back of a little aftermarket shop. In between times of trying to keep the doors open from the shop and going to bounce at a strip club to pay the bills.
We had talked about loading the Volkswagen Bug up,
and
then going from that to the little red station wagon. Remember that? Like, dude, it was
so. Yeah, I thank all you guys for helping us get here, and letting us into your headspace once a week, man, with Shop Talk, and if you come on to any of these other things that we do. But I want to specifically say, if you haven't checked those out, this is the deal. If you don't know this, because some of you cats are just like, you know, getting hip to this whole technology thing. You can watch this program live or on demand in your living room, on your great big television. We have upgraded our equipment here so that you can watch it on a 70-inch television. All you have to do is go through your television, get to the YouTube channel, go to Cycle Source Magazine, and you can pull up any of these shows. Those shows particularly, every week we do Cannibal Chronicles on Wednesday, Bike Night Live on Thursdays, Sunday morning Cyber Swap Meet, and Shop Talk at 9 p.m. on Sunday.
So on Bike Night Live and Cyber Swap Meet, anybody that's watching here has an opportunity to participate. So Bike Night Live, all you have to do is send me an email and say, I want to be on Bike Night Live. And then you just come hang out with us for an hour. We have a few drinks. We talk about motorcycles, some good rides. We watch somebody cook. We listen to some good music. It's a bike night.
Yep.
And you can be on it.
All of it's good. So go check it out, man. We put a lot of effort into this. And final to that, I just want to say thanks to Rob Nussbaum. He's really been putting his ass into this to help us get a lot of this stuff together.
I know. He's really lit a fire under both our backsides, which most times I'm really appreciative, but there are some times that I want to kill Chris. Because he's just so fired up about it, which is awesome.
Yeah, and this week's cooking segment, we're gonna do a promo on that real soon, but it's gonna really be a super big treat. It's gonna blow your mind. So listen, with that, I also want to thank Jason Sims, everybody that helps out with the program. Obviously, the people at Dennis Kirk, because without them, none of this would happen. All of our sponsors through Cycle Source, and I can tell you, there's at least 2 more programs coming up. That one of them, you are not going to believe one of the programs. And for you tech guys, the other one is going to be full out tech, whether it's fabrication, motor tuning, tech. It's all going to be tech talk. So we're getting to that real quick. And with that, I'm kind of tired, right? So I think it's time maybe to pull this one into the station. It's a quick show tonight, but it was a good one. Look for David Wasserman to come back on with us soon. And until next week, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Bye, Felicia.
I love this shit.